Hey, soldiers, imagine an industry wherein the companies involved in that industry are going to make trillions of dollars of profits. Not market cap, I'm talking profits. What if you had advance notice of such an industry? Well, you do. We're going to talk about a new phenomenon in AI and robotics that is going to be the biggest industry and one of the most lucrative industries that humanity has seen in our entire history. But with everything that, is positive, like making money, there comes some challenges and some things that might make you reconsider such an investment. And we're going to talk about that today. But before we do that, we've got to acknowledge that we got to step gingerly around this subject because the repressed people over at Google headquarters don't like words that describe natural human functions, like the word that describes a male and a female human getting together and creating another human. You know what I'm talking about? I was trying to think of a euphemism that would easily allow us to do this video. And I remembered back when we were young and we used to fake sick, stay home from school sometimes. We'd have to watch The Young and the Restless. It was my grandmother's favorite soap opera, and she would watch that after The Price is Right. And back then, society had a lot more class and intelligence than it does today. So certain themes on that program were implied. So two characters would go to kiss each other, and then it would fade to this blurry screen, and you get it if you're an adult. Now, we were kids. We didn't get it. So my grandmother, she would avert our eyes and say, mush, mush. So I thought about using mush, mush as our euphemism, but we'll just say procreation, okay? Because it is an act that can lead to that. Although I think most of it is just for the pleasurable aspect of it. I could be wrong, but you know what I'm talking about. So guys, look, an ex-Google executive has come out and said that AI and robotics will combine to create applications that simulate that activity, all right? That adult activity. Go ahead, hit subscribe, enlist, become a soldier of finance. Today, we're talking about something that's going to potentially earn these companies and their investors tons of money. But we're also going to talk about some of the moral and philosophical ramifications of this. Because when you invest, are you just out for money, or are you worried about, the moral aspects of this? Well, for those of you who can separate the two, then this video will talk to you about an industry that's going to make a lot of money. But for those who want to think a little deeper into it, this video will also expose some of the dark side of this. So either way you want to go, subscribe. This is the kind of content you'll get. Hit that thumbs up. Go ahead. You guys do such a great job of that. And hit that join button. Find out what we have to offer in the Officers Club, our members only section, where we get down into the details about how to evaluate asset classes. Assets like stocks, the stocks of companies that are going to offer AI, robotic assisted pleasure events. Ex-Google executive says AI-powered pleasure robots will seem alive and eliminate the need for another being. That's a big claim. That's a huge claim. Now, I suppose there are many human beings who are just interested in the act, not interaction with another human on a deeper level. That's obvious because there's another word we probably get in trouble for using. But the activity, they call it the oldest profession, where individuals will allow other individuals to, have this experience and do so for a fee. Okay, so that proves, and it's called the oldest profession for a reason, because people have demonstrated a willingness to just engage in the act and then walk away. So here we go. How much would people pay for this? They don't have to go out, risk disease, arrest, embarrassment, condemnation. How much would they pay? A former senior executive at Google predicted that pleasure robots, we'll just call them that, powered by artificial intelligence, could eliminate the need for a human partner in the bedroom. Mo Gadot, who was chief business officer for Google's clandestine research and development arm X, that says X, they may call it 10, being doing the Roman numeral thing, I don't know, said that AI will usher in a, quote, redesign of love and relationships, unquote, in that people won't be able to tell the difference between real life encounters of that nature and those that are created artificially. Whoa. Okay, that's a huge claim, and I think you can already see the potential for a very lucrative opportunity for the companies involved. Now, this guy's a former Google exec, and he said he was working in the clandestine R&D department. Google's working on that. This isn't going to be some back alley, sleaze type operation. They're going to sanitize it. They're going to package this. They're going to do the old Edward Bernays thing, the father of modern marketing, where they go out and they get several doctors to attest to the fact that, relations with a AI improves your blood pressure and all this other stuff, and it reduces stress. And they're going to market the heck out of this thing in order to, again, Disney-fy it. Yeah, Disney-fy it. We can use Disney in that context today. They did it to themselves, right? In order to sanitize it and take it out of the perception, take the perception of sleaze out of it. This is not going to be a red light district thing, guys. Trust me, not with Google and another company you are very familiar with involved. Human beings will soon be able to simulate that activity through virtual reality and augmented reality headsets, such as Apple's Vision Pro. Apple, already a $2 trillion company in terms of market cap, they're setting themselves up to make trillions in profit. So this Apple Vision Pro is going to be one way that these apps will be enabled. Or Quest 3, what Godot told YouTube host Tom Bilal of the Impact Theory podcast, Bill Yu. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Someone knows, just phonetically spell it for me, please. And that's a shame because I think I have watched this guy's podcast and I just don't remember how to pronounce his name. The headsets combined with AI-powered bots will trick people into thinking that the encounter with the robot is real. Do you remember that there was a movie? Oh man, this movie is so old. It was back in the day. It was called AI. That's right. And it had Jude Law in the movie. And his character was a pleasure robot. Okay, that's what he had been constructed to do. That was his purpose. And he had artificial intelligence. He was endowed with that. You could tell that this was not a human. Okay, because there were like subtle differences that made you look at it and say, okay, that's not human. And that's why that the whole premise of the movie was they had created an AI robot that was indistinguishable from a human. You should go watch that if you haven't. Anyway, Jude Law's character, the pleasure robot, was distinguishable, but not so much so that function that he performed was not, pleasurable. If I remember correctly, I'm not going to give you that spoiler, but it was very accurate and very lifelike, okay? This is the brave new world we're heading into. So, Godot goes on, says, just think about all of the illusions that we're now unable to decipher. He's right about that. Because I watch some like short video clips of like ocean going vessels because I love the sea, or car racing, and it's indistinguishable from reality. Okay, I know years ago when I was a firefighter, I walked into the break room where we had this huge television, and the guys used to play video games on that television, and they were playing one of the latest versions at that time of Madden. And I walked by this television. I said, hey, what are they doing? An exhibition? I didn't know football season had started because I don't follow sports. It was that lifelike. They were like, no, this is the game. Okay. And that was then, right? Godot goes on. But if we can convince you that this pleasure robot is alive, or that experience in a virtual reality headset or an augmented reality headset is alive, it's real, then there you go. This is why I believe that humanity is at risk right now of retreating into a virtual world. Think about it. You don't have to leave the virtual world to work. Okay, not with the technology we have. Ever since 2020, we've proven that people can work from anywhere. There's an internet connection. Okay, so the only things you would need to have cared for a person to live out their life, or a substantial portion thereof, in a virtual environment is waste disposal and eating and drinking. Okay. You would need to have some form of exercise because your muscles would atrophy if you didn't get that. So maybe, there would be a limit on the time that you could spend in AI in any, given week or day or what have you. But I see that coming. Humans are in danger because I don't like that idea. I like this natural world. Now I'm going off into my quantum physics hobby for just a second. There are many quantum physicists that believe that what we're living in is some sort of high-level virtual reality simulations. But we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But substantial portions of the human experience could be spent in AI as this technology develops. And I personally don't think that's a good thing. Godot said that technological advances will enable computer-backed systems to link into the human brain and make it think it is interacting with a peer being another human being. If we think a few years further and think of Neuralink, Elon Musk's Neuralink, and other ways of connecting directly to your nervous system, and why would you need another being in the first place? Godot said, why would I need another being? Maybe I want to create a child. Okay, maybe I want to walk through this experience we call life with a person that's real. But we are seeing the redefinition of reality in the 21st century, in the West especially. Because you can identify as whatever you like now, right? Reality doesn't matter. And these appendages I have mean nothing, okay? Notice, though, how it doesn't work with finances. I can't waltz into a bank and say, hey, I'm a billionaire. Give me $1 million loan. That's actually quite messy, he said. Now, he's referring to being in a relationship with a human being. Godot said that even the mental and emotional stimuli that come with intimacy can be recreated artificially. Now, if you're talking about that, the ramifications of that, because I would think that without that human contact, humans need, I don't care, I'm a big time introvert, okay? But I do acknowledge the fact that the human needs contact with other humans. And if you look at an extreme case on the other end of that, when they lock prisoners in solitary confinement for long periods of time, it psychologically damages them, okay? So humans do need other humans. Is this AI going to be so efficient at recreating humanity, recreating the behaviors of humanity, that it will trick the brain? That's what they're aiming at. It's all signals in your brain that you enjoy companionship and sexuality. And if you really want to take the magic out of it, it can be simulated. I'm glad he said the magic, because look, I know this is old fashioned, but I actually approached the woman that is now my wife, and I asked her out on a date. I think maybe you might get, charged with harassment for doing something like that today. But part of the, allure was the chase. And I know for my wife, she has said part of the allure was the pursuit. Okay. Being pursued. Okay. Natural human behaviors. Is the AI going to play hard to get? Is the AI going to do the pursuing if you like to be the one that's pursued? Godot scoffed at the raging debate over whether AI-powered bots can be considered sentient, saying it's irrelevant if the human brain is convinced they are real. Now, let me tell you, there's a deeper reason why he's scoffing, because he knows damn well that if AI is sentient, then we have absolutely no right to program it to submit to our base sexual desires. Okay? That would be tantamount to slavery of that sort. Okay? That would be assault of that nature if these things are sentient. So he's using a convenient trick of the mind to convince himself that, oh, they're not. He knows that he can never stand here and make a claim that AI is not now or never will be sentient or conscious. And the reason he should know that is because we as human beings do not have a full definition of consciousness. We only have the definition from our point of view, but we don't know where it originates from. Okay, we don't know if other beings have it in some way, shape, or form that's different than we do. We know none of that. So I think that's a very kind of a sick way to absolve himself of the guilt that should be associated with, condemning another sentient being to a life of that sort of slavery or any kind of slavery. Once again, there is that huge debate of whether they are sentient or not, Godot said. Doesn't really matter if they're simulating sentientism so well, he added. Does it really matter if the Morgan Freeman talking to you on the screen is actually Morgan Freeman or an AI-generated avatar? I tell you what, these people are dangerous. If you're convinced that it is Morgan Freeman, it's part of what the Hollywood strike is all about, them being able to use AI. We get lost in those conversations of, are they alive? Are they sentient? Doesn't matter if my brain believes they are, they are. Now, from a philosophical standpoint, I see where he's coming from. But again, this is just the, if they are, okay, then again, we have devolved into a monstrous species. Earlier this year, 23-year-old Snapchat influencer Karen Marjorie created a chat GPT-powered doppelganger of herself that engages in erotic pillow talk. The pleasure bot Karen AI boasts over 1,000 boyfriends who each pay $1 a minute for its services. She's got to be a multimillionaire by this time. Rosanna Ramos, a 36-year-old mother of two from the Bronx, virtually married an AI pleasure bot that was created with the Replica app. Replica uses AI to learn people's texting styles, enabling it to mimic humans. The advance of AI has sparked fears that bots will replace humans in knowledge-based industries, prompting critics to call for a halt in the research and development. But apparently they're also going to replace some other industries, like one that's legal right now in Reno, Nevada, for example. You're a very intelligent audience. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's where we are. I think that this has the potential to really do a number on the human psyche collectively and over time, has the potential to massively drop birth rates, especially when you combine this with the demonization of masculinity. I met my wife at work. She was working for a different company. We were building a network. Our company was building a network for her company, the company she worked for. And I was a project manager, and I had been asked by the account manager to come down and meet with this company. So I did. My wife and I met in that venue. I don't think that, well, Guy today would be as open and forthright about making his intentions known, letting a woman in the workplace know that, hey, I'm interested in you, for concern over what she might, how she might interpret it. You guys let me know. I haven't been in corporate America in well over a decade now. Let me know. Is it like, nah, I'm just not going to approach anybody here. I'm just going to go home and seek social circles elsewhere. Is it like that? Am I right on that? Anyway, we will continue to follow this, but this is going to be, like it or not, this is going to be $1 trillion industry in terms of the profit that is generated. Now, look, you think this AI is a joke? Check out this video. AI is responsible for firing 90% of this company's customer service staff. Check out the video. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.